Concern over President Trump's executive order regarding birthright citizenship is turning into fear of mass deportations, as well as confusion over what Trump is actually allowed to do as president via executive order.
So this order is his way of laying down his plan that he's then going to break it and make some sort of federal effort to violate citizenship. And that will be tested in court.
The controversies over the executive orders are numerous. Just one example, countries around the world are refusing to acknowledge the historically known Gulf of Mexico as the Gulf of America, and now Marjorie Taylor Greene is vowing to force them to use the new name. I'm not sure how powerful MTG thinks she is as a mere representative, but that should be fun to watch. Maybe this will at least keep her occupied and distracted. But regarding birthright citizenship, constitutional and legal experts say that the executive order on its own doesn't mean or do a whole lot. As you just saw in the clip, birthright citizenship is protected in our Constitution. So Trump's attempts to challenge this right will be a very difficult run for him. Still, what happens when Trump controls Congress, the executive branch, and for all intents and purposes, the Supreme Court? What happens is typically whatever Trump wants to happen. The Supreme Court, which currently seats several Trump and Republican appointees, has surprised us before as far as ruling against the wishes of Trump, but they're not always as reliable as we would like them to be. That said, this would be a tough one for them to overwrite. The language of the Constitution is quite clear.
So let me go old school and read to you from a very old document because it's back in the news tonight. I am reading to you from the Constitution, which says all persons born in the United States are citizens of the United States. The privileges or immunities of citizens shall not be abridged. Pretty clear. It's the final word. Persons born here are citizens. And the Supreme Court ruled those words mean what they say. If you're born here, you're a citizen. That case was settled law all the way back in 1898. No politician can just change that in our system. Not Congress, not the president. And so if a president sort of writes on paper themselves or has their aides and lawyers write on paper if they disagree with the Constitution or that they even want to cancel part of it, that has no legal meaning.
In the segment on MSNBC, Ari Melber says that even if the President of the United States writes down on paper that he doesn't like some aspect of the Constitution, which is essentially what Trump did with his executive order, it doesn't change the Constitution. As he showed you in the clip, the Constitution says in no unclear terms that all persons born in the United States are citizens of the United States. And it says that the immunities and privileges of citizens shall not be abridged. That means citizenship for people born in the United States cannot be revoked, at least not without significant challenges in the U.S. court system. A president cannot change the Constitution with an executive order. Thankfully, states are already fighting back against the impending fight that Trump and his allies seem ready to put up.
When I took the oath to be your Attorney General, I swore that I would uphold the Constitution of this state and of this nation. And when we say we'll defend the rule of law, we mean it. That's why this morning I led a coalition of 18 states, the District of Columbia, and the city of San Francisco in suing President Trump and his administration for the unlawful order he signed yesterday that rewrote the Constitution, upended centuries of precedent, and denied residents in our state and across this country the right that they have in the Constitution to birthright citizenship.
While we know that this is a long shot for Trump, you also can't blame people for being scared or concerned. I know people who are worried about being deported to countries that they've never lived in or been to. I don't want to tell them that it's unlikely to happen because who knows? It does seem unlikely to happen, but there are reasons for people to be fearful. Again, states are fighting back. Meanwhile, there are concerning headlines coming out from places like Mississippi, like this one in the Washington Post that reads, Mississippi lawmakers want bounty hunters to find undocumented immigrants. The proposed Mississippi Illegal Alien Certified Bounty Hunter Program Fund shows how hardline immigration policies at the federal level have influenced policy proposals in states and localities. The article says, 2 days after President Donald Trump took office and began his immigration crackdown, a Mississippi state representative introduced legislation to create a bounty hunter program to identify people who are in the country illegally legally. The bill, introduced by State Representative Justin Keene, Republican, would give $1,000 in state funds to bounty hunters for every person they help to deport, according to a press release from DeSoto County District Attorney Matthew Barton, also Republican, who says he suggested the idea. Additionally, Trump has already started cracking down on immigration, from scare tactics in hospitals and government facilities to suspending refugee admissions. People have reasons to be wary, even if their paperwork is seemingly in order. Joshua Tom, the legal director at the ACLU of Mississippi, said this of the climate that these moves create for everyday Americans. He said immigration enforcement is a federal domain, and when state and local authorities get involved in it, communities become less trusting and less likely to contact law enforcement, which can make communities less safe. This would create terror in immigrant communities and increase the risk of racial profiling. Others have described the scenario as Orwellian, especially as the president has already declared a state of emergency at the southern border and is actively making plans to send 10,000 troops there. This entire presidency will be one of intentional fear-mongering, of deliberately sown chaos, and of relentless boundary pushing. This presidency will be a stress test, not just of our collective American nerves, but of our entire system of government, and we will have to see how the barricades hold. All right, that's it for me. If you got anything out of this, please like the video and subscribe to the channel for more. Thanks.